Hello everyone and welcome to Planet Coaster. Now I've been doing some thinking over the past few days and I've come to the conclusion that I want to beat the entire game of Planet Coaster. Alright boys, here we go. Pirate Battle. Avast me hearties and welcome. Okay, I'm just gonna skip this right away. Before we do anything else, we have to take a look at the objectives that we have to complete. So of course I want to complete all the levels, easy, medium and hard. And to summarize it all up, we need 1100 guests in total. We need a balance above 15k and we need to build 4 rides. So the first thing that I noticed is how ugly this red pathway is, and I decided to change it to a more pirate themed pathway. This new one is made out of wooden pallets and it just fits the park way more than the ugly red pathway that we had in the past. I mean, if you watch any pirate movies, have you ever seen a red pathway? No, you haven't. It's all made of wooden pallets. After I was done complaining about the red pathway, I wanted to go and take a ride on the coaster. The ride itself is kind of cool. I mean, it goes over the pathway twice and then a tiny bit over the water, which is always nice. And it goes kind of fast, but the ride itself is rather short, which is not that very good. So I'm gonna build an epic launch coaster in this video. I think this coaster is more for like families, so this park needs a big thrill ride. Also, this queue looks really short and really ugly, so it's time to upgrade that. The problem with these queues is always that it looks kind of bland and kind of boring, but now I transferred it into more like of a jungle queue. So I think this would attract the guests. I would make the guests way more happier in the queue. Now I did the same thing with the other ride in the park as well, because in this game you have scenery points, and the more scenery points you have, the more guests will come to your park. And remember, we need 1100 guests to finish up the hard level. One of the annoying things about this career mode is that you don't have everything in your disposal whenever you start a new park. So you have to do research to acquire new rides, new coasters, new facilities. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm doing some research for a new facility and a new ride. And that's when I realized that we don't have any toilets in the park. We don't have any drink stands in the park whatsoever. We only have one chief beef and that's it. And that's not good. And that's exactly when I built a milkshake stand so my visitors don't die. Now it was time for the roller coaster. Wow, what a surprise. Another time lapse. Well, yeah, because this one took me forever to build. I had to restart twice because the intensity was too high and the G-forces were also too high. And the guests just won't go on it. So I had to change it multiple times. I went for a steel launch coaster, which basically launches the vehicles up in the air and goes through the entire course with inversions, and that's basically it. The ride is basically made out of inversions. But that doesn't really matter. Let's ride this coaster, see how it works, see how perfect this one is. This is my creation, and let's hope that one day this will be adapted into one of the theme parks around the world. But I doubt it. Because this one is pretty intense. You'll see what you'll see what happens. Oh, look how beautiful this is, so smoothly. You would say this is pretty okay so far. Hey, this was pretty rough, but that doesn't really matter. That's just one turn. Now this is the part where it's very scary because it goes so slow. You know, overall, you would think that this is not a scary ride. I mean, it's kind of scary, but not that. It's not that bad. It goes upside down a few times, but that's it. But no, according to the game, the ride exceeds the G-force limits, and that's not very good. But I don't care. I made this beautiful pathway, and let's hope that the guests actually go on the ride. And then I went over the objectives, and I noticed that my roller coaster doesn't count as a ride. So I just wasted an hour building this beautiful creation for absolutely nothing. Then I did what any sane man would do and actually built some more rides, and that's when we accomplished our second objective. Then all of a sudden I had one objective left, and I was to get 1500k balance. So I did what anyone would do, and that was to play the waiting game. So I waited and waited for like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it popped up. I completed my quest to conquer level 1 of Planet Coaster, and we can move on to level 2.